Invite should be coming shortly. Invite should be coming shortly.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not.
Tucker Carlson showed up in Moscow this week to interview Vladimir Putin. It turned out to be anything but an interview. Putin droned on for 2 hours and 7 minutes, while Tucker sat there like an eager puppy. Occasionally, but rarely, he got in a question, like this one about the power of the deep state in Washington.
It sounds like you're describing a system that's not run by the people who are elected in your telling. That's right.
But more telling than what Tucker asked is what he didn't ask. Nothing about why Putin invaded a sovereign country. Nothing about targeting civilians. Nothing about Russian war crimes. A reporter can ask Putin a tough question if he wants a real interview. Why is it that so many of the people that oppose Vladimir Putin end up dead or close to it? But apparently, that's not why Tucker went to Moscow. During the Cold War, gullible Westerners who spread Soviet propaganda were dismissed as useful idiots. Calling Tucker that is unfair to useful idiots. He's made a cynical decision to chase MAGA's affection for dictators. What better way to cash in than Putin's Kremlin?
Now, you might have seen Tucker Carlson's big, hard-hitting interview with Vladimir Putin, which was definitely not right-wing Russian propaganda, as evidenced by statements like this.
We ourselves have put in a request for an interview with Zelensky. We hope he accepts. But the interviews he's already done in the United States are not traditional interviews. They are fawning pep sessions specifically designed to amplify Zelensky's demand that the U.S. enter more deeply into the war in Eastern Europe and pay for it. That is not journalism. It is government propaganda. Propaganda of the ugliest kind, the kind that kills people. At the same time, our politicians and media outlets have been doing this, promoting a foreign leader like he's a new consumer brand. Not a single Western journalist has bothered to interview the president of the other country involved in this conflict, Vladimir Putin. Most Americans have no idea why Putin invaded Ukraine, or what his goals are now. They've never heard his voice. That's wrong.
Right, most Americans have no idea why Putin launched his invasion into Ukraine. Not like he's been broadcasting his desire to take back territory that was lost during the fall of the Soviet Union for years. Not like he's already tried to annex Crimea and Georgia, and most recently announced the annexation of 4 regions in Ukraine, which Putin himself said would be, quote, Russian forever. But sure, we can't possibly figure out why he launched this war. And one more point on Tucker. Thank God we have someone like him to call out those in the media who lie in service of the government. That's right, without totally independent, impartial Tucker Carlson, who would be there to call out all of the partisan hacks who advocate openly for one political party over the other. At least someone out there is willing to keep the government honest. But also, think about why Tucker Carlson and the rest of the right-wing ecosystem love Vladimir Putin and Russia. The answer is that they are aligned. Trump and Republicans support Russia because Russia is content to meddle on their behalf, just like they did in 2016. And while Donald Trump loves to rewrite history and yell no collusion all day, just remember that the Russia investigation resulted in 34 people and 3 Russian businesses indicted, as well as 7 guilty pleas. And because Republicans are solely interested in power, and yes, that very much includes Tucker Carlson, then they welcome the support from the Kremlin and are happy to reciprocate. And in terms of what Putin gets out of the deal, Russia wants Trump in power because Trump will help undermine NATO, which is the biggest impediment to Russian expansion and imperialism. Trump today expressed his desire to do exactly that.
The president of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, would you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay.
Again, a mutually beneficial relationship. Putin helps the Republicans electorally, who will then take power and push us away from NATO, which will allow Putin to expand his empire. Putin found a useful idiot in Trump, and he'll be damned if he's not going to do everything he can to help him, which means getting Republicans in power. Again, a mutually beneficial relationship with a bunch of autocratic egomaniacs at the center. In terms of what Tucker stands to gain, Chris Wallace noted it perfectly. He is cashing in off of MAGA's affection for dictators. Look, it's already clear that there's a love affair between Trump and Putin, the reasons for which I just laid out. And so because the cult leader says that Putin is good, then the rest of his cult blindly follows along. And so knowing that Putin's stock is rising within the cult, that Tucker is simply jumping on the bandwagon and meeting the Republicans where they are. Remember, right-wing media doesn't influence the base influences them. During Trump's election theft claims of 2020, Fox News, for example, knew that it had to repeat those claims or risk losing audience share to Newsmax. They won't report the truth, but they report what the base is desperate to hear. It is the tail wagging the dog. Plus, of course, the other side of that, Republicans love Putin because he's an autocrat. Putin spent years fawning over Kim Jong-un and Duterte and Erdogan and Bolsonaro and any other right-wing autocrat who catches his eye. There is nothing more the right in general loves more than the appearance of a strongman. For a bunch of self-proclaimed alphas, they spend an awful lot of time demanding that a tough man rule them. These people love nothing more than to be under the thumb of a powerful man, and that's exactly what they got from Donald Trump. And by the way, don't take my word for it, take Trump's. It was him who demanded that a president should be able to do whatever he wants with impunity. He is arguing right now that a president should be able to commit crimes and not face any prosecution.
Bring rings to Pete Lenny. FedEx presents all tales of true deliveries. Just another day on the job.
We did this for love. See what we can do for your business. FedEx.
Money makes the world go round, round, and round, and round. What if we could make the world go forward? What if we could use fight?
I'm in fucking world press coverage.
Say presidential immunity, which will be talking
Come on, nigga, let's go.
It's very, very important for a president.
Probably watching the broadcast.
He really doesn't have a presidency. He can be told to do things that he would never do. He can do really bad things for our country. Presidential immunity is imperative. It's going to be very, very important. And I'd rather talk about that next week, but there is nothing more important to a presidency than immunity, because they have to be free to make decisions without saying, oh, if I do this or if I do that, as soon as I get out of office, we're going to be indicted, we're going to have trouble. And the other party will do that. I think we've seen that. They've done that. There's some very bad people. And you have an opposition party, and they will do things that are very bad. If you don't have immunity, you can be blackmailed. You can be, as a president, they'll say, if you don't do this, this, and this, we're going to indict you as soon as you leave office. You cannot allow a president to be out there without immunity. They don't have immunity. You don't have a presidency. You lose all form of free thought and good thought.
And it's worth noting, by the way, that presidents already have immunity from civil litigation. You can't sue a president for policies you don't like, for example. It's just criminal violations that a president can be prosecuted for. If your argument is that a president needs to commit felonies while in office to be able to effectively govern, you might have just lost the plot. So good on Chris Wallace for calling Tucker out for doing what he and so many others in the right-wing media ecosystem have made a living doing, clinging on to the dictatorial tendencies of Donald Trump and cashing in for relevance. These people are a bunch of barnacles attaching themselves to a sinking ship, and we should do whatever we can to make sure that it sinks even faster.
Wow.
Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads. I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.
So first interception shown for him there, but not the best fast decision either. Not something he did not do in their victory last night. No interceptions in that game, but this defense, they're able to take advantage of an early mistake. Now let's see if they can turn it into points.
So, Nikki may have started her career in South Carolina, but she's now 100% the candidate of Wall Street and the war machine. She wants to go to war with everybody. She wants to kill people. Countries that don't want us there. Countries that don't want us there. We're all over this. We took a lot of it out. They don't want us. They cost us billions and billions and trillions of dollars. And I just put a truth out. So everybody I hope on truth is I just put it out. They want to give like almost $100 million to a few countries. Breaking news. We had breaking news. I said, why do we do this? If you do, you give them not $100 billion. You give it to them as a loan. It's called a loan. Give them the money. And if they can pay it back, they pay it back. If they can't pay it back, they don't have to pay it back because they've got some problems. But if they go to another nation, they drop us like a dog. Like a female drops a male after a date because he doesn't like her, right? If that happens to our country, then very simply, we call the loan and we say we want our money. Because we give money and then they go to another side. As an example, let's say we give all this money. We were already into Ukraine for over $200 billion. And they could make a deal with Russia in the next 3 weeks, and all of a sudden they don't want to deal with us anymore. We've given hundreds of billions of dollars. And why have we had over $200 billion? And the European nations are, if you add them up, it's a very similar sized economy. They're $25 billion. So we're at 200 plus, and it affects them much more. We have a thing called an ocean between us, right? It affects them much more. But we're at 200, they're at 250. I did the same thing with NATO. I got them to pay up.
You fucking kidding me, bro? You fucking, you hike the ball sprint right to the fucking sideline, some bitch.
If we don't pay,
wow. Fuck on, nigga.
And everybody, you never see the Secretary General. What? I don't know if he is anymore, but he
fucking hike the ball sprint right to the fucking sideline.
Make a speech and leave, and that was it. And they
garbage ass fucking nigga, dog.
I came in, I made a speech, and they said, you gotta pay up.
Let's go, nigga, get the fucking ball.
And one of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You gotta pay. You gotta pay your bills. And the money came flowing in. And Henry would know this. If I said yes, I will. You don't have to pay. Yes, I will. Most politicians. Yes, protect you. And they're never paying up. I said, no, you have to understand, you don't pay your bills, you get no protection. It's very simple. Hundreds of billions of dollars came into NATO, and that's why they have money today, because of what I did. And then I hear that they like Obama better. They should like Obama better. You know why? Because he didn't ask for anything. We were like the stupid country of the world. We're not going to be the stupid country of the world anymore. We're not going to be. Got banned under this guy. So he now wants to send them $50, $60 billion. I have to say one thing. I think the greatest salesman ever in history is Zelensky. And I like Zelensky because during the hoax, the impeachment hoax, they said I made a threatening phone call to him. And when they asked him, he said, no, it wasn't threatening. It was a very nice call. He could have played to the bandwagon. He didn't do that. He told the truth. So I like Zelensky, but that war's got to end. We can make a deal on that war. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to get that war ended. That war is a disaster. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people have been killed, far more than you're reading about. And you notice you don't hear about that war anymore. You know why? Because they're not doing well. That's why. Because the fake news is totally bought in, and now they're saying this is not working out. No, we got to get that war settled, and I'll get it settled. It would have never happened with Putin. It would have never happened. And by the way, it didn't happen for 4 years. It didn't happen. We'll get it settled.
Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another first down.
But we're fighting for the people of our country. We're going to stop that war.
This man is a fucking idiot, I swear.
Let's do it.
Wait, about him. FanDuel kicked off Destiny 2 live Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, we do want to get to an important story that happened earlier this week. Take a look at your screen. Russian President Vladimir Putin giving an interview to U.S. TV host Tucker Carlson on Tuesday, his first to an American journalist since before Russia's invasion of Ukraine nearly 2 years ago. To discuss, we're joined by Alex Gorbachev, a reporter with Voice of America's Russia in Service. Alex, we appreciate your time as always.
Good to see you, Austin. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's get right into the news here because, this was the images seen around the world so far at this point. The interview began with a 25-minute monologue by Putin about history leading up to the current conflict. They also discussed Putin's territorial goals. Alex, do you think the Kremlin got what it wanted with this interview?
That's a great question, Austin, and that's good that you picked on the word monologue, because that's precisely how many journalists who analyzed the whole interview referred to it, like it was more like a monologue rather than an actual interview. Getting back to your question, if Kremlin achieved what he wanted, I think their goal with this interview was to reach broader Western audiences, American conservatives in particular, because Kremlin is very interested in influencing election in America, and they wanted to reach the audience, but they also wanted to dodge tough questions, so they used Tucker Carlson as an opportunity to do that. As for this historical monologue, I don't want to go there for a long time, but just claims
Bum ass
how
fucking nigga
historically
dog.
accurate was it. For example, he was talking a lot about so-called
Mother, when you try, I need to plug my phone in and charge.
he spoke to President Zelensky, and that he brought up that Zelensky's father fought during the World War II, and that he asked Zelensky, and then Zelensky didn't have nothing to respond to that. Just a brief fact, Zelensky's father was born in 1947, and the World War II ended in 1945. So that's kind of a glimpse of historical perspective and Putin's interpretation of history in the beginning of the interview. So journalists, they had to do a lot of fact-checking when covering this.
And some of the fact-checking that's been done, what has come of that? And I suppose there was a lot of fact-checking to be done. Was there anything in particular that stood out to you, maybe?
Well, this particular part stood out because it was historically inaccurate, and he just, it looks like, and some journalists assume that he just made up this conversation with the president of Ukraine. It was just his interpretation of history mostly, and his interpretation of the invasion of Ukraine. I wish we would see some tough questions that would reveal Putin's real intentions in Ukraine, but unfortunately we didn't see that.
I want to get to another important part of this story. Putin said that Russia is ready to negotiate a prisoner exchange for Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich. This has been a story that we've been following closely. He was jailed in March 2023 on espionage charges that he denies. Alex, did Putin give any indication this week as to what it would take in order to get Evan back?
He wants to exchange it to convict a criminal, to convict a killer who murdered some person in Berlin a few years ago. And I think maybe it was the initial goal.
Now a timeout called for by the offense as they stop it with 16 seconds to go.
That Kremlin is very interested in exchanging Gershkovich to that guy, to Vadim Krasikov, because Putin brought it up during the interview, as I predicted 2 days ago when we spoke with you. And the reason why Kremlin is interested in exchanging Gershkovich to that particular guy, in my opinion, it can be related to the crime Mueller committed, because Kremlin Kremlin is notorious for poisoning people overseas, for killing people overseas, and if the exchange will happen, they will just show that it will be easier to recruit killers to kill someone overseas, because they can show, see, it will be just few years in prison, and we will just exchange you, swap you with some American journalist, some American PhD in Moscow, but like in a few years you will be released as a free man, and we'll give you a bunch of money.
The Wall Street Journal has been sending out a lot of messages on social media regarding Evan's capture. Putin says that he was caught red-handed, and when I say he, I mean Evan was caught red-handed breaking espionage laws. Reporters of Russia at this point, Alex, specifically independent, non-state journalists that are within the country.
I knew Evan personally when I was working in Moscow. I met him. He was a
brilliant guy, and I think
this espionage law, Kremlin uses it specifically to target journalists. So I think Evan's case is very clear indication of how safe it is to work and to do any reporting in Russia. As a matter of fact, Kremlin outlawed any investigative reporting on the war with Ukraine in Russia, so they implemented foreign agent laws, fake news laws, other laws. So, for example, if you will just call the war, not special military operation, how they call it, it will be a violation of the Russian law, and they can prosecute you. Same if you will just report
fucking instant roll out with this bum ass motherfucker, dog.
Law, and journalists who report they may face a few years in prison or more. If they wanna imprison person for longer time, they will use espionage charges or terrorism charges. Like with espionage charge, again, Evan's case is a very clear example.
I hate playing this motherfucker. All you did is spam the same shit.
Investigative reporting of any critical reporting, so that's why they kicked out almost virtually every media organization which would report from Russia in Russian language, because Putin doesn't want to answer questions from journalists.
Another big talking point that they were speaking of was foreign affairs, and we have a tweet that's from Poland's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In the interview, Putin said he will not invade Poland unless Poland invades Russia, that he does not have territorial aims across the entire continent, and that a global war would bring the whole of humanity to the brink of extinction. Those were Putin's words from the interview. Do you think these kind of words will mean anything to the West, or do many Western leaders oftentimes take statements like this with a grain of salt?
Grain of salt, to say the least. His part about Poland, it was a very bizarre part of the interview. My colleagues, they counted that he pronounced the word Poland 36 times during this interview, and it's actually pretty alarming because previously he was talking a lot about Ukraine before the invasion, and we see what's happening now.
Are you fucking kidding me, dog? This quarterback, bro.
Like he's anti-Western and anti-Ukrainian and anti-Polish propaganda, but he made some very weird statements about territory or modern borders of Poland. So it's something definitely, I think some Western leaders definitely will be concerned about it. I saw some statements from Danish defense minister who said that Russia's war with NATO may happen in like 3 to 5 years. Previously, I saw similar projections from German officials, from Norway, from Sweden, officials who were indicating that direct conflict between Russia and NATO is something which is not inevitable, but it's certainly one of scenarios which can be considered in the future. And another point regarding his comments on Poland, sometimes and pretty often Putin does exactly opposite from what he is saying. Remember, he was saying that he will not invade Ukraine. Previously, he was denying any ties with and it received billions of rubles from Russian budget. And if we will go like in early 2000s, he many times confirmed, he many times indicated that he doesn't have desire to be president. And we'll see it's 24th year for his presidency, and he is still there.
How is Russian media covering this interview? Do they see it in a different light than we do, perhaps?
Yeah, depending on like what media. So Russian state-run media, they're glorifying Putin. They cover the interview extensively. Tucker Carlson is the most popular American journalist in Russia now. Because like basically what the coverage is that Carlson with this interview he was able to break through the iron curtain of Western censorship, so Putin was able to reach Western audiences with his view of the invasion of Ukraine. So like and also Russian media they indicate that it garnered over 150 million of views, so a lot of people saw that, and a lot more of people will see that. As for, that's how state-run media cover it. If we will talk about independent media, it's a completely different story, because Russian independent media, and as I can see from comments of Russian independent journalists, they were offended by the fact how Carlson presented himself in Moscow, because when he announced the interview, he said that no Western journalist ever bothered to interview Putin, and it's
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott to kick it away.
Can you please help me plug my phone in?
Not to run with it. A fair catch will move this out to the 25-yard line.
And can you help me smoke, please?
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. Charles, they still have the lead despite their defense giving up a touchdown on the previous possession. And even though they have that lead, it feels like a back-and-forth ball game where to try to get momentum back, maybe they need a
Instant fucking rollout, bro. Wow, man, nigga. Instant fucking rollout.
a gain of 32 that time. So the big play gets them across midfield now for 1st and 10. They'll drop the throw.
Wow, instant rollout.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away.
Hike the ball straight to the sideline. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. They did what they had to do to start this third quarter, went down, got the touchdown to cut the lead, but the matching touchdown a moment ago, and we're right back where we started at halftime.
Not too much stuff after he scored that first touchdown, but the defense gave one up, and that's the problem right now. Can they get a better play from their defense?
Bob, I need my phone plugged in.
On 1st and 10, Franklin. He's got this to Pickens. And he takes it down, but not before he gets into Lions territory. On the give, this is Harris. And he'll power his way forward for about 4 yards there on the first down carry. And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off. Back now here on EA Sports. It's the Steelers with the football, but trailing here as we get going in quarter number 4. To throw on second down, Franklin. That's swung out wide to Harris. And speed gains up here. Looking to throw, Franklin.
Wow. Wow, bro. Wow.
The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. They have to like the position that they are in. Fourth quarter, 2-score lead, and now the ball back.
Wow. 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 Come the fuck on, nigga. Let's go.
Touchdowns on the year. And the Wizards are closing in on a third straight win as they widen the gap further here in the fourth quarter. Extra point right down the middle.
Madden. Always be giving you funny shit.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. The Pittsburgh offense at the line to start their next drive. We certainly had a sense coming in here that these guys were in for a tough one on the road. That has been how this ball game has played out. They trail big as we continue on now here in this fourth quarter. Here's one deep for Pickens. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's second down.
And they're at the point of the ball game now where they've got to take some chances. They've got to put the ball in the air and just see what happens. But this defense knows that all too well.
Well, this is taken in. It's complete. A big play that time for Pittsburgh. 47 yards.
When they've needed a play this year, he's certainly been the guy to deliver it. As this season has gone on, he's been awfully consistent and sometimes spectacular.
Throwing on first down. Franklin. To the right side, and he's got more complete. And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. In motion goes the tight end. Again, he'll drop to throw. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. They don't get the hook up there, but you really have to marvel at how precise he's been throwing the football these last couple weeks.
Oh, that's the perfect word for it, precise. Because if you're at 70% or better 2 weeks in a row, you have a job as long as you want one in this league, won't you? I mean, let's face it, it's not just West Coast offense either. He's putting the ball downfield as well.
Throw right side here, taken in by Bateman. And he's got this inside the 10 to the 9 before he's out of bounds. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4. In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And oh, he's just going to be short here, barely. Maybe by a It'll be 4th and inches. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. And they're going to try the screen. It's complete. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage.
Well, looks like they'll move things around here.
They'll try and run with Harris. And he pushes forward but comes up short of the goal line as he'll get a yard down to about the 1.
Najee Harris, well built for work down here near the end zone. That's a nice job there to hold him up. But I doubt we've seen the last of him on this drive.
Again, it's Harris. And I don't think he got in. He did not. They mark him short of the goal line. This likely a must-have. 3rd and goal. And he'll actually lose a little bit of yardage here. Back to the 2. The field goal doesn't help. They're going to go for the 6 here on 4th and goal. They're going for it. This is Harris. And he's in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Najee Harris, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Steelers have got it back to a 2-score game here in the 4th. Elliott good with a PAT. And the lead will be cut down to 14. Two scores down, 3 timeouts left. Still a chance if they can somehow get this one back. And it looks like this one won't work out. Hams team able to secure the football. 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of an anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
Decent start defensively to this series. They've got to stop them here and get this ball back.
I like the way you phrase that, partner. Decent start, but now it's got to be more about the ball. It's all about the ball, getting it away from them, because making good tackles is one thing, but the clock will run out on you. You've got to have the football back for your offense. Well, you most certainly don't want to go 3 and out here and give the football right back, because your friend, Old Momentum, he's wondering if he should change sidelines about right now. And if you don't convert here, guess what? He's going to make the trip to the opposite side, and all of a sudden, you got a battle on your hands.
7 catches for him now, and this last one, a first down. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's our home team here in possession of the football as we come back. And you'd have to figure they're just looking to burn these final 2 minutes away and get out of here with a victory.
Let's go. 5 points of contact necessary at this stage as they'll run on first down. And just good downhill running there as he'll take this to the 15-yard line. 105 yards now on the ground on just 7 carries.
I have to chuckle to myself a little bit, Brandon, because right now I could be in that huddle with that offensive line. I know exactly what they're saying. If you call a pass play here, we're going to call timeout. Run the football. We've got control of this thing. Get him behind us and let's go.
Their time to shine. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Starting to become a tough spot for this defense. You're down 4th quarter. Looking a little fatigued maybe on that side of the ball.
Partner, we've seen this before, haven't we? Because every coach we've ever talked to says body language is important. And now you're seeing guys with their hands on their hips, they're bent over, hands on their knees. And the offensive guys are just saying, let's just keep running it out, and we've got them now. Well, that was one of the few times they've been able to contain him thus far. He's over 100 yards for the game, but he lost a bit off his total on that carry.
Back to throw. And it's caught. Touchdown. Jalen Waddle. A 9-yard touchdown grab. And the Wizards extend this 4th quarter lead, and they are getting closer and closer to win number 11. Extra point splits the uprights, and the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away.
And this will be a touchback, so they'll bring it out to the 25.
The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive.
Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time?
He's got a man complete. Got his man. It's caught for a Steelers touchdown.
George Pickens.
58 yards.
And the Steelers are able to make some inroads here to that deficit.
Elliott good on the extra point, and the lead will be cut down to 14. So 2 scores down. Time definitely not an ally, but here comes the onside kick. And this is going to be recovered by the hands team. And that should just about put a capper on this one. They knew they needed a miracle. They had to have that onside kick. They didn't get it.
Well, as we knew, even before they put the toe to the leather on that one, their chances of getting that done, slim and none. And I do believe we saw Slim just leave the door, didn't we?
We did indeed. I think we're down to none.
We've got to have 2 hands on the football here as they run on first down. And he gets forward up the middle, but only for a couple. It'll be second down.
Charles, why didn't they just take the knee there?
You're asking the question that I'm asking as well, because we've seen a lot of football where coaches decide maybe they get a little greedy. I don't know if they're doing it for stats or for what reason. We've seen it happen in college, and how about in the NFL? The miracle of the Meadowlands. All they had to do was take a knee and the game was over. The Giants ran it one more time. Ball popped free. Philadelphia picks it up and wins the game.
What year was that?
1978. I think it was in November.
And he'll be taken down here, and that is how this one is going to come to an end.
Charles, a lot of happy faces.